We welcome now NewsNation legal contributor Jesse Weber, host of YouTube's popular Law and Crime Sidebar podcast. Jesse, I've been so looking forward to this conversation. I want to pick your brain because we're in uncharted waters here. Let's start with the accusations alone. Forget her title for a second. Cook has not been charged with the crime as stated. She's accused of claiming in the span of 2 weeks to live in 2 different residences in 2 states. Would you mind spelling out for us the likely motivation behind an alleged move like this and what the consequences would typically be?
Yeah, so first of all, great to see you. We're in kind of, like you said, uncharted territory. When we talk about for cause and governors being fired for cause, we really don't know what that means. You know, traditionally it has been for malfeasance or negligence, something of that nature, but this hasn't really been decided by the courts and whether a president has the authority to do this. And so the question becomes, is a mere allegation without an indictment, without a filing of charges, without a conviction, is that enough? Do we treat it almost like the private sector? Is it listed out in a contract about what for cause should mean? What is the standard here? And whether or not, even if there is a determination that the president has the ability to fire a governor for cause, is there any due process that is awarded to her before she's ultimately terminated? These are questions we just do not know because it hasn't been decided at this point. But from a practical point of view, if the president does have the authority to do this, you can understand that an allegation like what she's facing may actually be grounds for her to no longer be in that position.
Yeah, and Cook, for her part, she denies any wrongdoing. Her attorney says the president, that they'll be filing this lawsuit challenging this legal action. Jesse, how do you see this playing out in the courts as we look ahead now?
It's tough to know if he's actually going to win this in the courts. Why do I say that? So the Supreme Court, as we know, gave the president quite latitude to hire and fire his agents. Now, they were very clear to say in a recent opinion, the Federal Reserve is very different, okay? It is independent, it is quasi-independent, and that is important. And if we treat the Federal Reserve as different, maybe he does not have the ability to seemingly unilaterally fire a Federal Reserve governor. Now, the question also becomes, what is the motivation behind it? Is it because of interest rates? And if she's ultimately removed, will she be appointed by somebody that will be more in favor with President Trump's fiscal policy, and that may give him control over that board? So it does become a question right now about whether or not he would be justified in doing this and what are her rights, but this is going to be the time that we fully explore it. So there's going to be a lot of legal back and forth about what does for cause mean? What does her position mean? What does the Federal Reserve Act mean? And ultimately, it will be up to the courts to decide. And I have to imagine this will make its way up to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, we got about 40 seconds left, but I want to ask you, to your point, you know, President Trump has not been shy that he wants the Fed to lower interest rates and has even floated firing Fed Chair Jerome Powell before backing down. Could that potentially, from a legal perspective, Jesse, impact how judges view his legal showdown now with Lisa Cook as well?
I think it could. And the way that I see it, the letter that was sent out the other day, even the president's own comments yesterday, very, very careful wording. I do wonder if he was advised, if you're going to be talking about Lisa Cook, make sure that it has nothing to do with the interest rates. Focus in upon the allegations. Focus in upon mortgage fraud. Don't mention anything about interest rates and what your motivation is or what your plan is, because potentially that could be used against him, and courts could look at that and be using against the president.
Yeah, very fine legal lines we're walking right now. All right, Jesse Weber, great to have you break it all down. Thank you.
Good seeing you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.